Hey guys, it's Uncle Warren here. I am at the Casa de Eduardo touchdown in Chicago. I've been here for a few days. I've just been getting things ready and settling in and, uh, you know, putting all this crap together that you don't see behind the scenes. Uh, like this irritating line above my head that will probably be the focus of your attention the entire time of this video, which is probably appropriate. Uh, um, there's a lot of uncomfortable things I need to say. Um, I don't really want to do it. I wish this was whiskey. Pulling a Marco Rubio. Also, I'm kind of testing the acoustics in here right now. Sounds a little echoey, you know, but I don't have the green screen up yet. Once I get the green screen up, hopefully it'll sound better. Kind of a OCD when it comes to the tech stuff behind the scenes. But the trip in was not bad. I was on a train for 24 hours. That's not a sex phrase. I was on a literal Amtrak for 24 hours. It was only supposed to be 18, but there were delays. But there were very nice people on there. I think a few of them were socialists, so you things are not too bad in that respect. We're not giving up too much hope on people yet, but anyway, so with all this moving and getting settled in, and there was the moving out too, that took a while too. So the shows have all been on hiatus till all of this is, completed. I didn't want to half-ass a show, on a train or something like that. Oh, if I could have got away with it on the train, it would have been cool. I think doing a midnight show on the train, though, probably would have pissed off some people trying to get some sleep. So, but I'll do a whole train story when we talk about on the secret show. So when we come back this weekend. So anyway, during all this time, I managed to comment on some of the things that was going on with Hardlands Media and Chicago Corner, and when Jerry had spoken to me about this, and Ed, a while back, this was, they were getting ready to they wanted to create a worker co-op for Chicago Corner. And there was a dispute with Harlan's Media about it. So I was privy to some of that information at the time, right? So I was also privy to a lot of information behind the scenes, and not just from Ed and Jerry. It was Kira and Laney there too. I'm not going to speak for them. They'll speak for themselves if they want to. But to be demonizing Jerry like this, I don't think is really fair to him. He's been trying to tell his side of what's been going on, but people don't seem to want to hear it, and that's very disturbing to me in this space. I'm not putting a litmus test on people. I'm not being holier than thou, but I like to think that I've been fairly consistent in my dealings with people. I try to be as professional as possible, but we also have a good time too. It's all part of it. But like I said, at the time that was going on, middle of last year, I believe, maybe sooner. I said, okay, all right, well, they're going to settle their thing. That's between Chicago Corner and Hardlands Media. Okay? It's their business, right? This is not some corporate attack like YouTube censors coming down and cracking down on you. This is not the case. This is an internal labor dispute. This is internal business. And what disturbs me is the fact that in the past, when Hardlens Media has been censored by YouTube, they cried the alarm like, look, we're being hammered. We're being, our channel got shut down over some bullshit. So everybody rallied to that, as they should, right? But what's disturbing to me is the fact that they weaponized it this time against one particular person. And that is very disturbing to me. That they took an internal matter, put it out in the public realm for all of us to see, in order for us to focus our hate and anger at an amputee who's on Social Security disability. That was the marching orders I was assuming was being given, because that's what happened. Now, whether you like Jerry personally or not doesn't mean that it's okay to go after him without legitimately hearing his side of the story. Now, if you've done that, he's put some documents out there, a lot of correspondence between him and Daniel and Kit and Hardlens Media. He's put that out there. And if you say, well, I don't know where, if you don't know where it is, he's got it. He'll tell you. I'll send it. Maybe I'll try and put it in the link down below. How about that? I'll put this the documents that he released. I'll put those down below, and you can read those. Now, if you've read those, and you still feel that Kit and Daniel are in the right on this, I mean, we can agree to disagree, but at least you looked at both sides and made your decision on the matter. And saying that we have to make a decision, these are friends of ours, right? When I came into this space, I started watching Hardlens Media. I liked Kit and Daniel. I thought they had, they were in the town of my birthplace, Chicago. So that I always have a special affinity to Chicago and anything Chicago related. That's why I gleaned onto Chicago Corner as well. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm back in the birthplace. I've come to straighten things out. I've come to straighten myself out and hopefully help others straighten themselves out in the process. But I digress. I don't want anybody to think this is like a hate take on Hardlens Media, all right? It kind of, I'm very disappointed, I would say, because of the information that I know about what was going on behind the scenes, and some of the decisions that were made. One thing in particular is the fact that Chicago Corner never got to keep any of the money that they raised. Whenever they got super chats or anything like that, from what I'm told, they weren't able to keep those. Those went to 99 Perspectives, and then they never saw any of it. But like I said, that's an internal matter, and the only reason I'm addressing this is because, and this is the meat of the real reason I'm doing this video. I hope everything between Hardlens Media and Chicago Corner works out all right, but I have a feeling it's not going to. So I think people need to, just brace for that. That's just That's an internal matter. Yeah, you want to support your friends, but, you know, these are also grown ass men, and they need to handle their business themselves. My interest in any of this was in the infamous video that Kit and Daniel um, they released earlier. Was it earlier this month? Maybe it was last month. Recently, it was pretty much basically the hit piece on Chicago Corner. I wish this was whiskey. I really do. But it's a good thing I'm a little stoned. So maybe I can get through this story okay. Anyway. So, of course, they had Indy from Indy INN on there, giving his take on how Jerry destroyed the world and how he also destroyed INN, broke it apart. Why I left INN. And it was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous thing I think I ever heard Indy say. And Indy has said some really dumb shit in the past. Before I go any further, there are people out there who are going to watch this, and they love Indy. They respect Indy. Indy's done good things for them. Indy's done good things for me. I do not discount that whatsoever. In fact, that's part of the reason I'm pretty fucking disappointed. All right, just bear with me, okay? I'll try to go from the beginning and skip all the dull shit. But basically, what happened was, I had been doing clipping Joe Firestone's shows on KRTD. For KRTD when I got into this space, right? It was around 2016. I think this around when Bernie was, or maybe a little later. But Bernie basically got me into this space, this particular part of the independent media space. And so, you know, you meet a lot of people there. I met Spittin' Venoms. It was like one of my first partners in crime, right? Still to this day, he's always DMing me, hey, can you make this? Can you put Joe Biden's head on a unicorn, shitting out a rattlesnake, and masturbating an albino elephant? And I usually say, do you want a PNG or do you want that JPEG? You know, and that was our thing. Anyway, and so we made a group chat, and we invited some of the people that we actually spoke to in real life. Or not in real life, but actually like corresponded with in some sort of way. They weren't just strangers on the internet. And one of the people we met along the way was Indy and Reef. And we had this, I can't remember the names of the group, but there's so many group chats, whatever. And so, but there was one me and Spittin' had made. And we invited Indy and Reef. And Indy decided he wanted to invite all these people that he had no shot at even getting a response from. You know, like these larger names in the independent space. And I'm like, no, this is not that kind of group. This is just for us. You know, you can have that kind of group if you want. You know, I've been in those groups, and they're great, you know, because sometimes they do respond, but that wasn't the goal of that group. The reason I mention that is just that's just one of the little things you see in a person, and you just kind of store it away. So, you know, and that's the thing. It's really hard to build up trust in people in this space. News sources, particular journalists, some activists, you know, sometimes they go wayward, and you know, and you're like, what the fuck? What happened to this? Now you're this. So changes are inevitable, I guess. And when changes are inevitable like that, it's really hard to trust people unless you've known them for a long, long time. And even then, people can still change. So, okay, I promised I'd get the dull stuff out of the way. All right, so I was clipping shows for Joe, and then I started clipping How Did We Miss That for Indy and Reef, right? And that was cool. And then I decided to do my own show, and I couldn't do it anymore. I told him I didn't have time to do it anymore. And, he said, that's cool. And then later, they invited me to join INN. And he was kind of telling me the concept of what it was about, bringing content creators together, with the, same goals a lot of times, trying to get more information into the independent space, that sort of thing. Which I found was a fine idea. It's great. It's a great idea. But I was wondering why he wanted me for it. I said, I'm not a news guy. I'm just, I talk about butt plugs and, fart jokes and, cartoons and stuff and make people, silly time. I don't think that would be appropriate for your network. But, this was early on and he wanted the content. That's all right, fine. So I didn't know what the hierarchy was. I didn't know what the structure of the network was. To their credit, they never tried to get me to change my content or anything like that. The only thing they asked me to change was I had something wrong on the branding of the network. Usually, when I was part of the network, you would always see some sort of INN logo. And I had Independent News Network on there. Because I'm a stoner, I thought that's what it was. And then I was told by Indy, he said, no, it's Indie News Network. It's okay. It was easy to change. That was no problem. So I changed it. But that was the thing. That was the relationship. I was a big cheerleader for the network. And I'm still a cheerleader for the content creators there. I'm just not a particular fan of where the founder is going with this and what his actual intentions are. I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. I don't know. I'm just saying I got a bad vibe, and when I get a bad vibe, I just stay away. All right. So at one point, they had some sort of Twitter group chat where some of the INN members were in there. It was all dudes, and it was talking about some racy shit about women or something. And then one of the guys showed a picture of his dick, and I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I was jokingly asked if we could let one of our female friends in there. And they're like, no. I said, okay, well, I'm going to get out of here. And they invited me back in, and I said, no, just leave me out of this. I don't really want to be around this creep fest. But, let your freak flag fly, I guess. So, and then most of the information you would get about the network and where it was going was through the Discord voice chats. So usually it was Indy in there and Reef and Colin was in there sometimes. And more often than not, they were talking shit about somebody. More often than not, deservedly so. But sometimes it was people, they just talk shit about them. And Reef would play some random video or something, and I just, I thought we were just going to discuss things about the network, and then it turned out they were just talking shit about whatever, and so I stopped, going to the voice chats because of that. I think they think something else. And this is a bizarre little tale that is an addendum to this. So apparently, through some of my friends who actually were in the group chats after I left, they thought Indy and Reef, and I believe Colin to a certain extent, thought that I was being controlled or being told what to do by this guy named Propaganda Live. Some of you guys know him. He's a troll in the chats a lot of places, and then he has like 5, 10, 20 different YouTube channel identities, right? Anyway, the kid's got issues, but he's, for the most part, he's harmless, right? I worry more for himself, because, he doesn't really have a good life. So apparently, Indy and this guy, Propaganda Live, aka Prop, got into it on my Discord server, on the Extra Bullet Discord server. And somehow that is how. Prop was also. I was playing. It was a couple years ago. I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and I had my Discord channel open, so people could jump in the voice chat, and they could be, you could hear him on the stream. And he was one of them, and we were, shooting the shit about all this other stuff, and just, it was fun, for what we were doing, it was great. Yeah, he's an annoying kid, and sometimes you have to say, look, cut that shit out. You're right. You're not helping anybody. But at the same time, he's not an evil person. But somehow this kid was whispering in my ear, telling me things bad about INN. Like I wasn't in there and didn't already know this shit myself. And then there's their hatred for Shane Coughlin at KRTD. I found that very disrespectful. When they worked together, Shane was like 21 years old. He didn't really know much. He didn't have a lack of will to learn stuff. It was just, he was more business oriented. And they had a hard time with him. And they just say all these awful things about him. Like, why? These people, Shane, I love Shane to death, but, he's like me. He ain't got no power. Just like Jerry, he doesn't have any power. But, so then, anyway, these little things are going on. And then that awful Indie News Awards, whatever those things are, where he spent his own money on trophies for people. He was literally investing in clout chasing. Oh no, I really appreciate what they've done, and they really deserve these awards. I'm sure they all do. I'm sure they all deserve praise, support. I think they'd probably take a check or maybe a Cash App or a Venmo over a piece of plastic with their name on it. If that's, if we really want to help in the cause. But spending your own money on trophies for people in this space, that was ridiculous. That was almost the last straw. The last straw came New Year's night, or New Year's Day. Was it New Year's Day? Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was New Year's Day. Anyway, it was 22 going into 23. So Shane over at KRTD said, "Hey, look, we're going to do a New Year's Eve thing. We got Sabby Sabs on board. We've got the Chicago Corner. I think Heartlands Media is going to be there, and we'd like you to be there." And so me and Jimmy Sunderland, my partner in crime on The Secret Show, which is coming back this Saturday, if I didn't mention that before, we said, sure, yeah, let's do that. So we had this lineup, and what we were going to do, because it was going into a Saturday going into a Saturday night, perfect into the time slot where we were at midnight. But they were going to go until 1 a.m. and then toss to us for the final hour. I believe that's how that was. Anyway, there was we were also Jimmy and I were also on a segment earlier in the day with Ed and Jerry from Chicago Corner. I believe Kira was there. I don't know. She may not have been, but that's she's important. But that's not important. And they played some stuff, and you got the old copyright right in the where they paused the. They said this stream's been taken down, and you have to wait like about a couple of minutes, and then it comes back up. I forget what it's called. I'm still a little tired. I'm pretty much stoned, so just bear with me, all right. So anyway, I guess because of that, Sabby got a little gun shy. So after their segment was over, which ran over like 15 minutes, nobody told us. We're sitting there waiting with our dicks in our hand because we're supposed to go at 1 o'clock. Just a little professionalism, that's all. And then we finally get they toss to us. We do that and then about 10 minutes in, Sabby's stream went down, and she had basically told Shane to pull it, to take down the stream because of the copyright thing earlier in the day or something. Why she waited until 1:20 in the morning Eastern time, I don't know. I had questions, and none of these questions were going to get answered apparently, and that's foreshadowing. So needless to say, Jimmy and I were very upset about that. We're both very silly people, but when it comes to doing all of this, like the engineering and stuff like that, I take that very seriously, and I especially when I'm working with other people, I am a 1,000% professional when it comes to that kind of stuff. That means 100% with communications, 100% with knowing the whole schedule, what we were supposed to be doing, that sort of thing. Woo! That's a lot of talking. We didn't get any. Shane didn't know anything. All he knew was that Sabby texted him to kill the thing. So we were pretty upset. We were like, "What the hell's going on?" So the next day, I tried to DM Sabby about it, but because we didn't follow each other. For some reason, I couldn't send her a direct message. But we were in a group chat together. So I left a message in there and said, "Hey, Sabby, DM me. Can we talk about what happened New Year's Eve? I just want to see what's up." And had she had done that, that would have been great. She said, "Yeah, I was a little gun shy about the copyright thing or whatever," which would have been fine, maybe. But, I could have said, "Well, why didn't you pull it earlier in the day if you felt so, if you're so worried about it?" I could have asked her those questions, but I was ignored in the group chat too. I didn't push it, and I was very respectful, I think. I was like, "Hey, can we talk about this?" And I didn't want to put it out on Front Street. And then finally I put it out there. I said, "Hey, look, what's going on?" And then just ignored. And I said, "Okay, well," and then I left that group chat. And that was the last time I had any correspondence, or at least one-way correspondence, with Sabby on the matter. So, like I said, I'm probably going to lose some friends. I'm probably going to lose a lot of subs. But, look, I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not making any of this shit up. I don't have an agenda, All I'm doing is just trying to set the record straight on my end. Okay? That's it. You could, do what you want, obviously. But it's like I've been telling you on Twitter for years now. Don't get in these cults. Don't worship people. Don't have idols. Because it will bite you in the ass one day. It's good to respect people when they're doing good work, because you want to encourage that. You want them to do more good work, right? So you encourage that. Yes, you're doing a great job. But when they're not doing a good job, when they're using their audience as a weapon against someone in a personal business matter. When you have someone who lies and says that a person like Jerry broke up INN, for one, INN's still together, so there's lie number one right there. And here we get to the crux of it. This is why I left INN. So after all that went down, I was very upset about this. Jimmy Sunderland, our buddy Les Bones, and our buddy Drunken Unicorn. We were all, this was all, we were like, what the fuck is going on over there? So I was just trying to tell them what happened. Like the whole, what I just told you. And Indy was not having that. He was not thinking that, he was not going to admit that this was Sabby's fault. So of course, who did he blame? He blamed Shane. He said, this is Shane's fault. Shane was just doing what Sabby told him to do. Right? You know? And then, and I was just trying to warn them, right? And Indy says, but they're our partners. I said, what? When did this happen? See, this is the miscommunication or the non-communication within INN, right? Reef thought I was just being egotistical because I wanted some answers to questions, right? Like, who am I to ask the almighty Sabby Sabs questions, right? About a particular evening. And you may be thinking, well, what's the big deal, man? You know, that was like 2 years ago or a year ago. Why are you bitching about this now? Because Indy brought me up in this little video. I parted ways with INN. I left the group chat of INN. I took all the branding off. I took, I believe I took all the INN stuff off my channel. If not, I'm in the process of doing it. So they don't copyright strike me. You know, which is quite possible. But I left, and I know I didn't shit talk him on any of my shows. The only time I ever gave my opinions on either one of them is when I was asked why didn't I like Indy anymore. And I told them why. Because he's a lying piece of shit. To me, he is a lying piece of shit. To you, he may be an angel. But to me, he's a lying piece of shit and a backstabber. Yeah. Again, take that as you want. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to get you to believe something so that you'll, you know, whatever. I'm only doing this one video and I'm done with this. They've called me out on that video and said Jerry was the reason why I left or something like that. Or Jerry broke up INN. No. It was because people who I thought were my friends turned out to be just out and out clout chasers. Plain and simple. I kind of had my suspicions about it for a while, but then with the Indie News Awards and then this shit, it was the icing on the cake. So no, Indy and Reef, it wasn't Jerry. And no, Daniel and Kit, it wasn't Jerry who broke up INN. INN is not broken up. Still thriving as far as I know. Still using my ideas too. I saw a rando roundtable the other night. Good job. No, you guys can keep that. And so the thing, I told Indy, I said, look, any of my stuff on there, I'm not going to bust you balls on it. You keep that stuff. It makes you some money, go for it. I was very generous when I left. Very amicable. I even said, you know, maybe someday in the future we can collaborate on something. And then we parted ways. I unfollowed him. I unfollowed Reef. But the rest of the creators at INN, I supported and I still support to this day. Angel will tell you. Angel sees me in his chats. He hasn't seen me lately because I've been in move mode. I haven't been in anybody's chats lately. People think I've fucking disappeared off the face of the earth, but I didn't. I'm still here. This is a lot, and it's hard for me to say all this stuff, right? You know, I still believe in what we're doing. You know, I still believe that this independent space can be reined in to keep people from going to the dark side. I mean, we've seen it before. You're like, a lot of you, including me, were like Rachel Maddow viewers or Keith Olbermann viewers. Look how that turned out. So then you went to TYT, you went to David Dole, you went to whoever, and then they turned out to be shit. Then you went to Jimmy Dore, and you go to these other people now, and you just gotta watch out. Because you can't say, oh, well, this hasn't happened before. Yes, motherfucker, this has been happening. This has been happening. That's why I tell people, no one is above scrutiny. No one is above scrutiny. When you take your eye off the ball like that, that's when people start playing you. They realize they got a chump in the mix. Don't be a chump. You ain't gonna be paranoid. But talk to people. Don't go on like suspicions about shit like Indian Reef did and Colin too. At least Colin was, he said, oh, I'm not taking sides between you and Sabby on this. I said, well, good. Well, at least I know that you're only just half of a traitor instead of a full on fam. That's not family. You don't treat family like that. Those cats knew me a hell of a lot longer than they knew Sabby. And I've done a hell of a lot more for them than Sabby has. And then they go and, 500 subs, dude, that ain't enough. You ain't got no clout. They didn't say that. They might as well, though. It's easier to understand the logic. So think what you want about INN. I don't give a fuck. If you're still like fanboys and fangirls and fan whatever people, knock yourself out. I really don't care. Because like I said, this is the last, I'm doing this video so I don't ever have to talk about this shit again. My goals for 2024 to get my shows back up, get some sort of, life balance where I'm not starving, and try and actually build something that'll do something for more than just myself and just a handful of people. That's my goals. And I also want to help these smaller channels. A lot of channels that are, less than 1,000 subs or whatever. They're just trying to get out there, help them out, teach them the tech, help them to, get to know people in the space. And, we need more of that kind of stuff. We need more of these new faces. Because pretty soon you're going to get tired of the old faces, and the old faces are going to start, turning on you. You wonder why the left is so fucked up. This is part of the reason. We talk about the cult of the Democrats and Republicans. There's cults of content creators. You don't dare, criticize Sabby Sabs. You don't. I haven't heard anybody criticize her that, that wasn't like treated like some sort of outcast. And if that happens to me, so be it. I'm not saying anything that isn't true. And I'm not trying to gain any sympathy or anything like that. I'm not trying to rally the troops. I'm just, I think I owe it to people that watch my shows and, who follow me on Twitter, who some people I think maybe might consider my opinion somewhat worthy. And, Like I care about people, right? I don't want to have all this drama. I'm not a drama person. This is dumb. You know? I'm not doing this video for clicks. I'm not trying to sell you anything. You know? And I don't know how much more plainly I can put all of this. It just breaks my heart, that's all. You know? Because I really like those guys, all of them. You know, Kit, Daniel, Reef, Indy. I thought they were cool to me. But this recent shit, this really exposed some people in this space. Some of you who claim to be fans of journalism think that only one side of the story is good enough. I mean, where the fuck are we? Are we back to cliques? Is that what it is? We're back to little tribes again? I'm not doing that shit. And I'll say one more thing. These little hard lens media mods that come into my chats and disrespect me and my co-host or anybody that's on my show or anybody in my chat, you can fuck all the way off. You save that garbage for hard lens media, all right? You save that for that cesspool over there with those assholes. I'm talking about the hosts. I'm not talking about the chat. There are a lot of wonderful people in that chat. A lot of people that I came into this space, I met there, and they're still there. And I got nothing but love for them. I got nothing but love for anybody who wants to see people do good things, right? If you think like Kit and Daniel are just 100% right in this, and you can find no fault in them whatsoever in this situation or at all, you know, that's on you. That's your thing. So I need to smoke another bowl. I just want to make sure before I get off here, I didn't script any of this, and I planned on editing this, get all the junk out. Maybe I still will, all the unimportant stuff. But I don't like to edit it because it makes it think like I'm trying to hide something. So maybe I'll just leave it in the raw form. Fuck it. I don't care. My final suggestion, take it, don't, it's up to you. Be careful of people. Like I said, you don't have to be paranoid. You don't have to be like, what's that motherfucker want? What's that motherfucker want? But just pay attention to things. All right? Just pay attention. That's all I ask. And, you know, don't be so quick to judge people when you don't have 100% of the facts. All right? So hopefully, at least the majority of you who watch this will be like, yeah, okay, all right. Well, at least, you know, at least we know why he left INN. If that's all you take out of this, that's fine with me. Because that's pretty much the nut of it. Everything else around it is just like extra stuff to fill in the gaps. I will say this, though. The creators at INN, like Chris and Angel and Snow Himbo and Crab and I always forget his name. I'm sorry. Bread and Circus's guy. Sorry, dude. I'm an old guy. I don't have Alzheimer's. I have Pottheimer's disease. So, sorry, I don't know. I'm looking over here, but I love all those guys, right? And I love Kit and Daniel, and I love Reef and Indy. I don't hate anybody. This ain't about hate. This ain't about having rivalries. This isn't about plot and revenge. It ain't about none of that shit. It's just trying to exist in this space and have some honest people in it. Just don't lie to me. Just don't lie about me. Don't lie about anybody. Just tell the truth. You know? Stop clutching your fucking pearls. You're trying to get people to hurt other people. That's just disgusting. And it's disgusting that those who enabled that shit too. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. It's their fucking business. Stay out of it. It's not hard. Anyway, I love all of you. And if you come back and see me, I appreciate you. If you don't, happy trails. I don't hate you. I wish you well. And I hope you find the information, the peace, the levity, and the love that you're looking for. Wash your ass, too. Please. For the love of God.